What's up, everyone? I'm Jack Slater, aka the Comic Outlaw. Yeah, check us out on YouTube. Drop us a like, subscribe, man, subscribe. And we're doing a little something special for y'all. A what if Mr. Sinister had formed the X-Men? Hell yes. And it's guaranteed that these aren't your daddy's superheroes. So kick back, Jack, relax, and let me kick a smooth yet sinister story to y'all. Yeah, let's kick it off. This is back in the day when Magneto was first appearing, and he was appearing in a military base, to kind of get control of all the nuclear weapons, and somehow something throws him off. He's blasted, put into a psychic bubble, and then he bursts out and yells, "Who dares?" And this is the turning point in history, for it's not Charles Xavier's X-Men, it's Mr. Sinister's X-Men, consisting of Madeline Pryor, Scott Summers, Sabretooth, and Havoc, and Sauron. Yes, this is a much, much different X-Men than you'll ever know. Something sinister lurks about, and Magneto begins to do what he does. One of the most powerful mutants in the world, he dispenses of Sabretooth right away. But the combined power of the X-Men is overwhelming him. And this is interesting because Sabretooth is wondering how long they're going to keep up this charade, how long he has to pretend to be a superhero. And Sinister answers him, psychically of course, that this is his game, his rules, and he's put a lot of time into Scott Summers and his brother Havoc. And his own plans and his own machinations are his own. And Sabretooth does not question the word of Mr. Sinister. And this is where you know who pulls the strings and why. Sinister has been coddling these children, raising them, keeping them safe for some unknown purpose, and keeping these villains with blood on their hands in check as they stand as a team of quote-unquote heroes. And they explain the certain abilities and powers, standard quo for the heroes. Madeline Pryor, of course, is a clone of Jean Grey who has basically her power. Havoc, of course. Scott Summers, they have the typical cosmic and energy powers. Sauron, this is interesting, he actually found him as a boy, sort of raised him, and then force feeds him energy to turn him into the beast. And Sabretooth, well, let's just say he found Sabretooth and bent him to as well. Meanwhile, the X-Men are having an easy time dispensing with Magneto. Sauron dives down, ready to drive his claws into him, ready to suck the power out of him. And Sabretooth stops him because they have to show restraint. Even though Sauron hungers for power, as Sabretooth hungers for blood. Cyclops, of course, breaks them up, the team leader, and this gives Magneto the opportunity to escape. And he says it's not over, not by a long shot. And when the Lord of Magnetism makes a promise, you better believe that he's going to cash in. But meanwhile, this version of the X-Men revel in their victory as Sinister gives out praises, basically draws Scott to his side. Scott is basically the perfect soldier, and Sinister has kind of raised him like a son. So Scott is absolutely loyal to Sinister, even though he sees there's flaws in his team, as well as flaws in certain things they do. And this is where Sabretooth and Mr. Sinister have a little word. And Sinister makes absolutely sure that Sabretooth is under his will, that he understands that he needs to keep his place, protect Scott, protect Havoc, until his plan is revealed. Meanwhile, Scott and Madeline Pryor are going out, and she tries to flirt with him, have a good time with him, and Scott's real strict, real staunch. And he doesn't really love her, he doesn't feel a connection. A physical connection, yes, but he doesn't feel that psychic connection. And this goes actually back to the older X-Men, where he actually stayed with Madeline Pryor after Jean Grey died, got her pregnant, and then when Jean came alive, he left her. So that's Scott Summers, y'all. And in either reality, he's a dick. Moving on. Sabretooth runs in, kind of stirs the pot a little bit between Havoc and a Cyclops, but they found her, the next recruit, the person they've been looking for. Storm. But right before they can recruit her, another team shows up, another X-Men, led by a redhead, Jean Grey. This team consists of Angel, Banshee, Beast, and the Mimic. And Sabretooth jumps into the fray, and the Banshee just blasts him with a sonic blast. And Jean starts yelling, calling the shots, telling Banshee to hold back, telling Angel to fly off with the girl. She is just barking orders left and right. And this just turns Cyclops on. He feels like a connection with her right away. And of course, the fight continues as Havoc starts blasting people, Jean starts blasting people, and Angel's flying around, saving people, and drops off Storm. But out of nowhere, Sauron's waiting for him. He's waiting to feed. And Angel's kind of caught up in his own thoughts about the dream and blah, blah, blah. And Sauron gets him under his control. But before he can feed, the fight continues between Madeline and Jean Grey. And Scott is wondering where his loyalties actually lie, because he feels a connection to this woman he doesn't understand. But Sinster does. This is part of his master plan. As the two redheads begin to fight, she fires a blast off, quote unquote, unlocking her potential. And this is where Sinster gives the order to Sabretooth to kill her, to rip Jean Grey apart. But out of nowhere, Magneto has his own team, his own brotherhood, and they have plans for Sinster as well. They begin attacking Mr. Sinister as the rumble in New York continues to save this girl, Moreau, aka Storm. And this is very interesting. Jean is kind of like threatening Sauron. He's not really afraid, but he does not know Storm's potential, and she calls down a bolt of lightning out of nowhere. Boom. And this is where the shadow games begin. The Sinister is being blasted out by the Brotherhood of Evil. Someone in the background is still pulling strings, still hiding. Wheels within wheels, plots within plots. This Sabretooth finally grabs a hold of Jean Grey, squeezing the life out of her, and causes a scratch, tasting that sweet blood, getting ready to gut her inside and out. Scott realizes this and has to make a choice. He has to pick a side, and he can't stand for Sabretooth's bloodshed anymore and blasts him away. As him and Jean begin to connect, they feel that bond between them. And this distraction causes Sinster to turn around as he's dealing with the Brotherhood, and he says that he can easily dispense them all, except for Scarlet Witch's power. And in a moment of distraction, Magneto picks up a bunch of steel and stabs him in the back as he yells out for Scott. The mutant he raised is his own son, recruited this team for him, made him a better man. As Magneto walks away, and as the others begin to dispense, Scott also disappears into a portal, finding his father, his adopted father, his savior, dead at his feet, dying. He picks him up, and Sinister tells him to make him proud, to follow his training. As the other X-Men pop in, and Jean says, Scott. And they join the team. They walk into the portal with the X-Men, and they become great members. They become great soldiers to Xavier's dream. But yes, deep in this dream, something sinister lies. Something insidious waits. And the nightmare has just begun. And I'll catch you on the flip side. Yeah.